This episode of the Opie Radio podcast sponsored by HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/12Opie. Use the code 12Opie for 12 free meals, including free shipping. And all that info is in the description of this episode.
Oh my goodness, I forgot my coffee. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Doggy, let's go get my coffee. Come on, let's get our coffee. All right. What's your favorite all right song? Give us a call on your home of rock and roll. Sorry about that. I forgot my coffee. Coffee and doggy in the morning. Pew, pew, pew. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I did, Louis Shands. I checked out. Nobody told me there'd be days like these by John Lennon. That song is a little wordy, but it works for John Lennon because, he was a genius. But then if you're a schmuck like me trying to sing along, it's like, nobody told me there'd be days like these. Oh, nice. All right, Chad. Chad's checking in from Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls with that S-I-O-U-X. Never understood why that says Sioux Falls. Joe Rizzo with the Words Heard. Oh, Words Heard. Get your Words Heard t-shirts at opieradio.com. Make sure you read the fine print, by the way. That confuses people when they see that shirt for sale. Opie, some photos of your garden on Instagram, please. Well, I could do that, but my phone's busted. This is how lazy I am. My phone is busted. There's a hole right where the camera is. That's where it fell on the floor. So that's why I haven't posted to Instagram, because I'm too lazy to go to the AT&T store and get the brand new phone. So if I did post the pictures of my little garden in front of me, the pictures wouldn't come out well. All right, here's my garden. I just made $5 from Detroit, and I'm going to take that $5 and I'm going to buy a house in Detroit. Thank you, Jim Harrington. Pat Duffy, that is the saddest garden I've ever seen, LOL. Look, I pretty much live most of the year at this point at the ocean where it's all sand, okay? So logically, let me go through it now. What you saw was a rose bush that was dying because we did leave here for a few weeks. I just started watering it again, and it's coming back to life. Then it was peaches. Let's see. I'm distracted by the comments now. Or Peach by Aerosmith. I would go peaches by presidents of the United States of America. They did lump, right? She's lump, she's in my hair. So I got the rose bush. Then I got an onion that was left on the counter after Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden it just started growing. And then I put it in Peach's pot, just placed it there on top, and the thing said, "Thank you for life," and it rooted itself. So now I feel guilty. But it's bogarting the space of peaches, which is my apple tree, from a seed of an apple that my daughter was eating. And I decided to see if I could grow an apple tree as a thing during the pandemic. And now it's 2.5 feet fucking high, and I don't know where to plant it because I live 500 feet off the ground in New York City, and you can't just plant an apple tree out here. So now I'm stuck with an apple tree growing inside my house. I guess I got another year before I got to figure out exactly what to do with it. I might plant it in Central Park, like way, way out of the way, and then maybe I'll visit it every once in a while. And then a couple potatoes that were also left on my counter started growing like crazy, so I just put them in a pot. But they're being taken over by a lot of mushrooms right now. I don't know, and not the good kind, I don't think. Opie's literally saying he has a tree in his house. I do have a tree, as long as it's not on my house, by the way. So then I got some strawberry. Are they called bushes? Strawberry plants. I got to explain this to Pat Duffy, who's calling my garden sad. So we just can't plant vegetables outside the beach house. So I put them in Tupperware containers just to see if they would seed, especially because we planted the seeds about a week and a half ago. And then we took off for the city again so the kids could do some of that in-person learning. So now they're sprouting out of the Tupperware containers. Now I got to go to the plant store and figure out something that I could transfer these vegetables in so they grow properly. But right now they are sad. They're running out of room in the Tupperware. But I got carrots, I got radishes, I got cucumbers, I got beans, I got peppers. What am I missing? Like it matters to you guys. I think that's about it. So now I got to try to figure out how to plant all this and put it out on the deck and see if we could get the whole thing to grow. Oh, and tomato plants, but those are downstairs under a grow light, man. And it's our little hobby, me and my kids. So they're very, very excited. All the stuff we planted survived the 10 days we weren't here. Because what I did, if you need to know, I made little greenhouses. I put plastic over the Tupperware containers because the house was still getting pretty cold, and I also needed to figure out how to water the seeds and the plants while I was gone. So I made little greenhouses, and then the condensation was dripping onto the soil, and voila, they got watered while I was gone. I'm a fucking genius. This is so stupid how slow my life has gotten, and I like it this way. This old house with Greg Hughes, Footer K. I got him. So when we were living in Boston, who was the host of This Old House? The guy with the glasses and kind of the nerdy short hair. This is so random and weird, and I swear to you, this is probably something I haven't thought of in, oh my God, do I have to say over 20 years? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So me and Anthony put out a CD called Demented World that did very, very well locally in Boston, and it actually started charting across the country. And we did these ridiculous CD signings. Some of them were like 6 to 8 hours long, all day long. It was unbelievable. I told you the story where we went to, I think it was Springfield. I'll get to This Old House in a second, but we go to Springfield to a mall. You know, we're going to do a CD signing on the weekend. And Springfield's a little far from Worcester and Boston, so we're not expecting much of a crowd out that far, you know? And all of a sudden, me and Anthony, we walk into the mall, and all of a sudden, we're like, God, this mall's pretty crowded for, a weekend, And we start walking, and then we see this line, and we start thinking to ourselves, who else is here? That they're getting such a good line, and there's such a great crowd in this mall on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever it was. It was definitely the weekend. Long story short, as we're walking closer and closer where we need to be, we see this line is just snaked all the way around the mall. And then they start cheering for me and Anthony. I'm like, holy shit, they're here for us. And we ended up signing CDs and taking pictures and signing posters for like 8 straight hours. The local TV station in Springfield came out to cover the event. It was one of the highlights of doing radio up there at WAAF, the only station that really rocks. It was amazing. And then we had this guy that helped us put out our CD, and he was selling posters of the CD cover. And that's when I knew me and Anthony was screwed. You got to remember, we were making no money, none. We were barely surviving in Boston, even though we had this hugely successful radio show. And then we thought we could make maybe some money off this CD, and it was selling a lot. It sold well over 100,000 copies. And the guy from the record company, he also made T-shirts and posters of the CD cover. And while we're at this mall in Springfield, Massachusetts, signing our asses off for 8 hours, this guy is counting poster money in the corner and putting the cash in his pocket. We never saw any of that money from the merch. And we were only allowed to split 75 cents a disc. And the rest of the money went to some charity. Because the company, I guess, felt like we shouldn't make money off our content. They weren't paying us, and they didn't want us to make money off our CD. Reason 238 why I hate the business of radio. So anyway, we're at that. I think it was that signing. And all of a sudden, the host of This Old House is in front of us with his daughter. And now I'm kind of starstruck. I'm like, holy shit. That's the dude from This Old House. And it turns out his daughter at the time, and man, she's got to be like 40 years old now. She was a huge fan of the Opie and Anthony show and came by the signing to get her Demanding World CD signed. And that's something I haven't thought of in over 20 years.
Hi, AAF. Who's this?
Michelle?
Hi, Michelle. You want to play Hi, Mom?
Yes, I do.
All right. I hear you want to play Hi, Mom. I'm in porno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, where's your mom live?
Montana.
Well, what are you doing in Boston?
I'm a nanny.
You're a nanny. Cool.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell your mom you lost your job as a nanny and you had to make ends meet, so you jumped into porno.
Okay.
All right. I got your mom's number. I'm giving it a call right now.
Okay.
Nutrition Center.
Hi, can I speak to Jean, please?
Is this Michelle?
Yes, it is. It's important.
Okay, hold on, hon.
Uh-huh.
Now play it up. Say you lost your job. You had no other choice.
Okay.
You were all alone.
Hello?
Mom,
Yes?
I have a problem. I lost my job
Why?
because I just wasn't doing it. I couldn't cope with it, you know.
I thought you said it was going great.
It was, but things just fell apart. I'm having really hard times, so I didn't tell you sooner because I was too scared to, but and now I got a different job, but I'm doing... I don't know how to tell you this.
What?
I'm doing porn movies.
No.
Yes.
No.
Mom.
No.
Why? It's
No.
too late.
No.
Mom.
No. You hold on.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Holy Jesus. I think she believes you.
I'm shaking.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Where can I reach you?
I have like 3 days to get out of here. So
You don't do that.
What?
Don't do what you told me.
What am I going to do? How am I going to get home?
You don't have money in the bank?
Well, yeah, but I kind of had to use some of it to get this rolling. I had to get an agent. And
No, you don't. Where can I call you?
the same number, but Mom,
What?
there's something else I have to tell
What?
you. Happy Mother's Day. I love you. This is just a joke. I'm on the radio.
Oh, my God.
It's a radio program. And
Oh.
I just wanted to let you know that I love you.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
thinking about you. Mom.
You know, I think those things are so funny when they happen to other people. I mean, I would sit and listen to them all day long because they're so funny, but you killed me.
Oh, my God. Wait, Mom. We're really nice.
Okay, I am going to kill you.
I love you.
Wait, Mom, first kill us. It's Opie and Anthony from AF Radio in Boston.
You guys.
We put her up to it, and I gotta admit, man, my heart sunk to my damn kneecaps. God, I felt so bad for you.
I'm breaking out in a sweat here. I'm thinking, that is too bad.
Happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you.
All right.
All right, bye.
Oh, no. What do you see there, doggy? Oh, you want that, huh? I think you just ran over he stepped on my plant. You son of a bitch. Look what he did. He just ruined my plants. God, doggy. Sorry. Sounds like I'm losing my mind. I understand. But these plants are very, very important to me and my kids. And Doggy just needed to get outside to see what he could do because there's dogs barking in the distance. So he decided he had to bark and check it out and stepped right on my plants. He basically said, "This is what I think of your stupid plants." That hurt my soul, Doggy. Yeah, holy shit balls. I hope you're feeling it. He just took out 2 or 3 plants with his big dumb paw. And then I was trying to figure out if that's he might be extra excited because it might be my friend that lives a few houses down that has a golden doodle, and that would be the dog that Doggy 69's with. Oh, no, it's funny. So my dog got attacked again at the dog park. I forgot to tell you this story. Really aggressive dog. It was one of these rescue dogs. People are very responsible with their dogs at the dog park, and if if a dog attacks, the owner is usually right on top of it and trying to take care of the situation. But this one dog would not leave mine alone, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I gotta be careful how I say this, but this is how people think. So An old guy comes up. Turns out he's in his 70s because we end up talking. I wanna rip this guy's face off because the dog was really, really aggressive towards Doggy, and Doggy was losing a little bit. You know, this dog came from a shelter, so it doesn't fucking play, man. It fights dirty. Think prison yard. We get to talking, and the guy apologizes. He says that I'm watching my son's dog, and it's a rescue, and it's a little wild. So I really, really apologize, But I'm not really used to the ways of the dog park. I'm just trying to do him a favor, and all of a sudden he goes, and I think he's gay. Now, he's 75 years old. He's old school. And he didn't say it in a way like he was like he was bothered by it. But what he noticed was what I've talked about on this live stream, and certainly a lot of dog owners can relate to. You take a dog to a dog park, they're sniffing each other's butts and licking each other's private parts. And like I told you, this particular dog park, there's not a lot of females that go to this thing. And so I guess the guy was horrified because he sees this dog, his son's dog, licking pee-pees. So he leans into me because he doesn't want anyone else to hear it. And he goes, and I think he's gay. And then I had to explain to him that that's just normal behavior at the dog park. Oh my God, I started laughing my ass off though. And then I think he quickly was like, not that there's anything wrong with it, but he certainly was a little bothered by what he was seeing. And then he tells me that he had a beagle when he was married. He's now divorced. He's divorced for a while now, he told me. He goes, I got to be honest with you, me and my wife, married 25 years, grew apart, raised 3 kids. And when it was over, we just kind of shook hands and went our own ways. And I was barely bothered by it. But man, that damn beagle of ours died, and I cried like a baby. Apple Jacks. Imagine not white knighting a radio host. I don't know what that means. I think the white knighting thing is really, really stupid. I think it's just fans that defend and protect their guy. And then because you do that, then assholes from the other side will say you're white knighting. I think the whole the whole term white knighting is really, really stupid. Because if you do anything in the public eye, you got your people, and your people are going to try to protect you. So if they protect you and stand up for you, then people turn around and call them white knights. I've always found that term really, really stupid, and to be honest with you, kind of douchey.
All right, let's talk about HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/12Opie. Use the code 12Opie for 12 free meals, including free shipping. I love meal kits. I'm using 2 of them, by the way, and they're owned by the same company. But right now, we're talking about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. You skip the trips to the grocery store, and you can count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes. Quick, easy meals. And they give you all the ingredients. How it works, you get these recipe cards, right? And you pick what recipes you want. And they got a lot of variety of recipes. And then the recipe's very easy to follow. All the ingredients are in a bag, ready to go, all pre-measured. And all you have to do is sit there and have fun doing a little cooking, and you get nice, tasty, quick meals from HelloFresh. Sorry I'm so excited, but I literally get a meal kit at this point every other week. This is what you really need to know. Get better value. HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store and 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal without sacrificing the quality. Ain't that the truth? I said, ain't that the truth? All right, enough of my nonsense. Go to HelloFresh.com/12Opie. Use the code 12Opie for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Once again, That's go to HelloFresh.com/12Opie. Use the code 12Opie for 12 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and we thank them for sponsoring this episode of the podcast.
What company treated you the best? Wow. It was really problematic from beginning to end. Radio is just a terrible business. AAF kept us down. We were beating BCN in Afternoon Drive, which should be worth a lot of money. The guy we were beating, he was making something like $500,000 a year, Mark Perreno, and me and Anthony were splitting less than 100. They just always try to keep you down. That's why I blew it up in Boston so we could get to New York with the mayor's prank. Because at that point, I'm like, you know what? And here's a lesson to the young kids. For a long time in my radio career, I was incredibly loyal to the company I worked for. And then you realize in the end, when they're done with you, they're just going to screw you and throw you out with the garbage. So the lesson to the young people today out there, don't be faithful to the company you work for. Because in the end, they're just going to throw you out with the garbage. Being faithful and loyal to an employer, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, work hard, especially if you're trying to get somewhere in your life, but don't ever believe that they'll ever do the right thing. So AF screwed us over so much, and I was so loyal to them, and I was like, just syndicate us. We obviously got something special, and you guys own radio stations. Just syndicate us, and we'll make our homes in Boston. And instead, they're just trying to give us like a $5,000 raise, some ridiculous raise after we just crushed it. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I got to do what I got to do now. And then we blew it up because we had offers in New York. Rest is history. WNEW, and it was owned by CBS Radio, and it was the parent company of Howard Stern. So there was always like a second-class citizen thing with that as well, even though we were crushing it at NEW. But they did pay us well. But they didn't want to syndicate us. And our contracts were up. And I said, look, we really want to be syndicated. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We can't really do that, but we'll give you a decent raise to stay on doing afternoons in New York. And I said, well, okay, thank you. Because at that point, I was talking to Clear Channel. And I said, oh, all right, if that's the best you can do, we're leaving. We're going to go do mornings at Q104, and we're going to go up against Howard Stern. And I remember Ken Stevens just went, don't sign anything. Don't sign anything. Can you give me a couple of days? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So then I got on the phone with Super Agent Bob, and I go, well, that shook them. They want to try to make a counter offer. And then Bob's like, well, according to the contract, they have the right to counter any offer you get. I'm like, all right. Either way, that's not bad, right? And I remember being in a hotel suite as Bob, our super agent, who's no longer with us, he had Clear Channel on one phone and he had CBS Radio on the other as they were fighting for our services. And then what happened was I met, just me. This is why I'm bitter, if you want to know the truth. So me and Ken Stevens met at, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but it's on 57th and 7th Avenue? Yes, 7th Avenue, a little Italian joint around the corner from the Brooklyn Diner. And we sat there and had dinner, and he was shaking like a leaf. Remember, like it was yesterday with all this paperwork. Because I showed him the deal from Clear Channel. Not only were we going to be on on Q104 in New York, they had us doing mornings all over the country. It was a big fucking deal. And then Ken's like, okay, we can match. We don't want you to we can't have you do mornings. So is that okay? I'm like, well, let me hear what you have to say. Because the match should have been that they put us in mornings, but they had Howard Stern. So they're like, all right, so we're in agreement that if we can match all these markets in Afternoon Drive, we might have a deal. I'm like, let me see what you got. And he's like, okay, we can put you on in afternoons in Boston. Of course, you'll stay in afternoons in New York. We can put you in afternoons in Philly. And it went on and on and on with every market. And then they're like, it's a little problematic because Washington, we have Don and Mike, and they're number one by far in afternoon drive. And I'm like, okay, but to make the deal work, the company is willing to put those guys in middays, and they'll syndicate them to New York City to make them happy. So I think we got Washington covered. Long story short, they covered the Clear Channel deal, market to market, gave us more money than Clear Channel, and that's the only reason we got syndicated. Because if you remember a few minutes ago, I was saying we really want to be syndicated, and they're like, we're not willing to do that at this time. But then I told them that we were going to Clear Channel. Then guess what? The door is open now. Opie and Anthony are syndicated. Hey! So to answer your question, what company treated you the best? I would say the early days of XM when Eric Logan was there as our boss. He really understood me and Anthony and what we were capable of doing. And then that asshole, he pulled me aside because we were decent friends. We were good friends, I would say. Even though he was my boss, we were in it together. And I remember he walked over to 57th Street. I'm trying to remember where between 6th and 7th, I guess. Yeah. God, why do I have to be so detailed? No one cares. They just want the story. So Eric Logan walks over to the XM studio that we had by ourselves on 57th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue. And he was waiting for me. The show ends. He was waiting for all of us, to be honest. And he goes, guys, I got some bad news. I'm like, what's up? And he goes, I'm leaving XM. I'm like, what? And then my thought was, all right, if he's leaving XM, he always has my back and the show's back. He's going to bring us with him. So I was waiting for the next sentence. And the next sentence was, I'm leaving XM and I'm going to go work for Oprah Winfrey. And I went, shit. Because I knew there was no place for the Opie and Anthony show on Oprah's network. And I'm like, this is the end. He goes, but, I'm setting you up nice before I leave, and blah, 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 blah. And that was the beginning of the end, my friends. If you really want to know the truth, the beginning of the end, because everything fell like dominoes after that. Sirius now completely took control of the Opie and Anthony show. Eric Logan was fighting for our best interests, being the guy from XM when the merger happened. So now Sirius XM is in complete control. And then instead of having Eric Logan, I won't name names, but it was a whole line of dummies that didn't get me and Anthony. And then they decided, your state-of-the-art studio here on 57th Street, that has to go bye-bye. You have to join corporate now in Times Square. We're putting you in a tiny little fucking studio. And they took the whole vibe of the Opie and Anthony show away from us. And then we certainly made it work for a few more years after that, but it was never, ever the same. That was so pivotal when Eric Logan left to go work for Oprah. That was a shot in the gut. So to answer your question, I would say the early years of XM were probably the best company, even though Hugh Panero with his bad breath hated our guts. But Eric Logan came in and saved the day. Because even with that, right? The early days of XM, Hugh Panero, he signs us. And his opening line, I'll say this another 100 times, I don't care. But me and Anthony took a train down to Washington to sign a contract with XM. And we're waiting in a conference room. We're kind of excited for this new opportunity. And we haven't done radio in over 2 years. And Hugh Panero walks in and he says this is his opening line. He goes, I'm no Mel Karmazin, and I don't like you guys, but I understand why it's important to sign you to my company, XM. And I'm like, this is going to be great. And he never liked us. And early on, I'm like, how long is this going to last? The CEO of the company does not like us and doesn't get what we do. But Eric Logan called me on the phone. and I knew him a little bit at this point, and he goes, "Oh, congratulations on your deal with XM," and he was all giddy and happy. I'm like, "What's up with you, man? Why are you so giddy and happy?" He goes, "I'll be able to tell you in a week or two," and the rest is history. He was giddy and happy because he was signing on to work with XM, and then he pushed Hugh Panaro out of the way for the most part, and he took control of us. Thank God. Or I'll be honest, I don't think me and Anthony would have lasted a year at XM because they had us on behind a second paywall. So not only did you have to pay for Sirius XM or XM, sorry, not only did you have to pay for XM, then you had to pay a couple extra dollars to listen to us. And for the first year at XM, I think it was like that. So we weren't talking to a lot of fucking people. And then Eric Logan's like, "This is crazy. You got to open up these guys to the entire platform." Thank God he came on board. Or I don't know. I don't know, man. I think our path would have been much, much different. Look at you, Salem, Paris. That's why I like doing the live streams, by the way. I had nothing today. Nothing. I was making a big deal about my plans because I honestly had nothing. And then Salem comes up with this question, and it just sent me down a road. So thank you, Salem. Give yourself a bell. Yeah, man. Just to mop up a little bit. Having an audience in the studio is great. Yeah, and I told Sirius, I'm like, you can't take away this vibe. They were lazy. They didn't want to walk all the way up to 57th Street from, where were we, like 47th Street? They didn't want to walk the 10 blocks to have meetings and such. They said it would just be easier if you join us here at at the studios at Times Square. And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing. And then they showed me the space. I'm like, how could you do this to us? We had a state-of-the-art studio with a giant glass wall, and the wall would open up, and then we could pull in bleachers so our audience could be 10 feet from us as we're doing a radio show. You're taking all that away from us. You can't do this. They didn't see it my way, unfortunately. And then, of course, now you're at the corporate facility, and then the lawyers really got involved and basically said, you can't do this, and this anymore. A whole laundry list of stuff. And to our credit, we were able to do a nice workaround, but they took away a lot of our bits. A lot of the stuff that was working. Hyper Dude, who are we fighting today? Ooh. Let's fight. Who you want to fight today? I think I want to fight with the people that still want to tell women what to do with their bodies. We could start there. Gotta ask, baby diaper mustache, real or not? Real. Just about every bit we ever did on the Opie and Anthony show was real. But I did that bit thinking that there wasn't a chance that there would be a payoff. And then, the guys were working behind the scenes, and they got me good. But basically, I would announce every once in a while, like, if you could come in with a baby diaper within the next hour, I'll make a mustache with what's in the diaper. And then everyone's like, oh, my God, an hour goes by like that, and no one's around with a baby diaper. But then the guys got together with Rich Voss. They made sure Rich came in with a baby diaper, and then I casually announced, next hour anyone comes in with a baby diaper, I'll make a mustache out of it. And who walks in the door but Rich Voss? So yes, that thing was as real as it gets, and the guys got me good behind the scenes.
So you're saying you would take baby
But here's the
shit.
beauty, Rich. I just surprised people out of nowhere. It turns into baby diaper mustache day. Today happens to be one of those days. And the odds of it actually happening are slim.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, there's so many rules to this thing, The bottom line is you would take baby shit and put it under here.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
You make a little mustache with baby shit.
Oh!
It's clean. Fuck my audition. I don't want it. I don't want it. Oh, it's fucking Get him a pail. Oh shit, get him a pail.
1, 2, 3. Do 2 fingers at a time.
Oh god, he's got it on his finger. He's got some, he's smearing, he's got... Oh no! Oh! I see YouTube sensation right now. That is fucking disgusting.
All right, this is called. Once again, this is called baby diaper mustache.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh! 1, 2, 3, dude. Obey!
More paper towel. Wiped it right under his nose. Now he can't get the smell out of his head. Oh no! He's got the diaper in his hand.
Where is he?
He's going up. All right, he's running off to the bathroom.
Horrified and just got baby shit smeared all under his nose. I am so disgusted.
A new low. A brand new low on the Opie and Anthony show. I didn't think it could be done.
When you picked up that diaper and ran around, I'm sure it's going to go into E-Rock's face.
Oh, yeah, it should have. Wow, boss comes through.
Let me tell you something.
All right, yeah, Opie, please describe it for the people. What's it like to smear baby shit under your nose for really nothing?
Get me a fucking razor immediately.
You need something.
No, dude, I can't get out of my mustache. I have never been.
You want the big baby shit?
No, if there's I need a razor. I'm not even
Got
fucking
four.
kidding.
How about the peeps that want to tell the rest of us what to put in our bodies? Man! I think the two things are very, very different. I think the abortion issue in America is an actual law they're trying to, come up with to basically tell women what they can and can't do with their bodies. And then with the vaccination thing, it's not a law. So if you don't want to get the vaccination, you don't have to. That's the big difference between those two things, my friend. Glenn D. Pedro, Voss ruled on the show, especially that day. Yeah, he definitely had his moments. I just wish he, whatever. Let's just say whatever. Tom Damiano, I saw you on Grocery Games a couple of weeks back. Really awesome and great tribute. I didn't know that was the Carl on your show. You really didn't know? Yeah, that's my buddy Carl. I got to tell you that the kid's star has fallen drastically in the last few years. But lately, I get recognized from my dumb appearance on the Grocery Games show where Guy Fieri did the tribute to Carl Ruiz. I've been stopped about, I would say like 5 or 6 times now. And then I'm thinking it's somebody that, knows the Opie and Anthony show or whatever, or my radio career. And then it turns out like, wait, I saw you on Guy's Grocery Games. So that's been kind of cool lately. Opie Radio, everything from abortion to dog humping. I don't understand the guys that get so pissed off when you tweet something like, leave the women alone and stop telling them what to do and not to do with their bodies. And people lose their minds. A few people called me that dumb wokey thing today because I tweeted that. The Supreme Court is going to hear a case. And that could be very, very problematic for the women in this country. And, I support the women. I support their right to decide what they want to do with their fucking bodies. Oh, my, what is wrong with that? We all have moms and sisters and girlfriends and wives and cousins, daughters. Why wouldn't you want them to have control of their own bodies? And don't act like you give a crap about human life. Hello, Opie. Why do people say that you aren't funny? Are you funny or not? Of course I'm funny. There's plenty of examples of me being funny all over the internet and all over my podcast, my friend. I think people started that horse shit that were threatened by how goddamn funny I am. I think it's easy to be funny. To be honest with you, it's no big deal. But there are a lot of guys out there, their whole lives depend on just being funny and the funniest person in the room. I never thought it was a big deal. The people who think this one planet is the only one in the universe with intelligent life are just really not intelligent. Of course. I think there's life all over the universe in all different stages. I think there are planets that are way more advanced than us. I think there are planets that are way behind us. Kind of like maybe a planet just filled with dinosaurs. I believe in all that shit. And I also believe the universe is so vast that I don't even know if we'll ever, run into another planet that actually has significant life on it. I'm not talking about teeny weeny life. Who cares about teeny weeny life? I want significant life. And I don't know. I don't think in my lifetime we're going to discover that. Oh, thank you, Ursula Mooreshead. See? I made Ursula laugh. Oh, all right. I'm going to stroke my own ego. Some of the funniest and most uncomfortable moments on the show were you're doing, sir. Look at me stroking my own ego. Look at me saying it's no big deal to be funny, and then he's searching out the comments that says that I'm funny. Opie sober as a gopher. Yeah, I mean, my drinking went up a little bit being friends with Carl and Vic Henley, but since their passing, especially Carl's, which is, we're up to, over a year and a half. Yeah, I don't drink as much. Because what you learn as a parent, and a lot of you guys learned this lesson, I actually got it from Club Soda Kenny. Because one day we were talking, he used to be a drinker. And then I basically said, well, what happened, Kenny? I noticed you don't drink. In all the years I knew Club Soda Kenny, he would humor me and my, my wife and have a drink every once in a while. I mean, very, very rare. It was probably, I could count it on one hand. So I asked him, and he goes, kids don't understand hangovers, GH. Let's see, Cynthia, again, one of my reds. I've had some really shitty days, and you and Carl, and now you by yourself have helped me make it through the days, like keeping me from swallowing the pills, make it through. Love and appreciate you. Well, that makes me very, very happy. Now, you know what you just did, though, Cynthia? If we fast forward, and I find out that you're no longer here, and that you swallowed the pills, I'm going to know that I started sucking. So now you have no choice. Now you have to go the distance. Oh, wow. Rock Riley, what was your favorite episode with Carl? Oh, my God. I could not answer that right now. I mean, every time I got to do an episode with Carl, it was my favorite. I like the ones when we were just literally just wandering around and making it up as we go along. And I loved making him uncomfortable because Carl was such a street guy. And I was able to make him uncomfortable in the streets. That made me very, very happy. It's not. Vincent, any episode Carl was dealing with your social awkwardness. I'm not socially awkward. Jesus. I'm really not. I like making people very uncomfortable, though. And I do that when mics aren't on, by the way. But it was so much fun. There were times Carl, under his breath, and I think we picked it up on the podcast from time to time, he would go, okay, okay. And he would have this kind of nervous, like, kind of laugh, like, okay, now, that's enough. Okay, let's go. And then he would strong arm me. He would grab my wrist really hard and pull me out of situations. Carl was hands down a funny dude, always missed. Oh, my God. Carl was funnier than a lot of comics that came through the radio show over the years. He was a natural. That guy could have been a great stand-up comedian if he chose to go down that road. He was so quick and so funny. And his references were second to none. David D., you always talk so fondly of Vic and Carl. Do you find it hard to not feel frustrated that they both died after you seemingly found a new set of people you could do things with? Oh, God. Yeah, it fucking blows because everyone knows for many, many years I wasn't happy with the Opie and Anthony show or I wasn't happy being on it. I knew I wasn't friends with Anthony or Jimmy. And for many years, those guys didn't respect me at all. And And then when that whole thing broke up, I had a chance to reinvent myself. And Carl, Vic, and Sherrod and others, they brought my confidence back. They were just so much fun to hang out with. There was no drama ever. I don't think I ever had a fight with any of those guys. I can't think of one. More importantly than getting to do the radio show with those guys and having fun with it again, it's all I know. I did radio my entire life. And the reason I started doing radio, because it was not a job and it was just fun. And it was ridiculous that you could get paid for just turning on a mic and being a goofball. And for many, many years, I lost that, and radio became a job. And then those guys brought it back to the beginning, basically, where the whole thing was just so much fun again. And more importantly than that, we hung out all the time. I mean, I could have hung out with them 5 days a week, but obviously, I had a young family to get home to. But even with that said, we were just hanging out so much together. After the show, before the show, on weekends. And, I'll cherish their friendships for the rest of my life. And to answer your question, David D., I'm not even close to over it. I'm completely devastated to this day that those guys are gone. I miss doing the podcast with them. But more importantly, I just missed them being my friends. So, you fuck. Baby Killer 138. I mean, that was a tough one. That was a tough stretch to lose Carl and Vic within, I think, 6 months. Just imagine, for real, imagine this. Now, do I have older and closer friends in my life? 100%. Friends that I go way, way, way back with, like Jeff and Fred, also known as Buzzy and Stork, of course. But day to day, those two guys were my number one and my number two at this stage of my life. I wouldn't go a day or two without talking to those guys on the phone if we weren't doing the radio show and hanging out with them. So just imagine this in your life. Just imagine who your number one and your number two is in your life right now. Just imagine losing both of those people within a 6-month period. I know it sounds like woe is me, but it's been tough. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Sanctuary of Geeks. Do you wish you could have done Opie and Carl and never Opie and Anthony? You regret O&A? Wow, that's a loaded question. That question will be all over the internet if I fucking answer it. I'll be honest. I have many days now that I really wish. I'm gonna stop there. I was legitimately heartbroken when they died and was heartbroken for you. I refuse to mourn Vic Henley's death because I just can't do it. I was still mourning Carl's death, and I was really, really leaning on Vic, and Vic was leaning on me to get through, the death of Carl. And then I remember getting a phone call. I think it was Sherrod. It might have been Judd Jones. No, both of those guys called, but I'm not sure which one called me first. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was like April, late March, early April. And then they basically said there's something really wrong with Vic. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And I thought it'd be some who gives a fuck thing that he would get through. And I just couldn't believe it. I still need a really good cry over Vic's death, to be completely honest with you. I have really pushed it down. Maybe it's a bit unhealthy, but I've really pushed it down. I especially enjoyed Vic when you guys had Sacha Baron Cohen on. That was a great reveal. So Sacha Baron Cohen was on. I forgot what movie he was promoting. And then Vic goes to Sacha Baron Cohen. He goes, hey, I was the ring announcer in Bruno. And Sacha Baron Cohen looks over to Vic Henley and recognizes him immediately at that point. I bet you Sacha just came in and was like, oh, I got another show to do. But then when he realized that was Vic from Bruno, Vic was in the ring announcer, Sacha Baron Cohen lit up, and then they told a great behind-the-scenes story of that scene, one of the last scenes of Bruno, I guess. And I remember after his appearance, Sasha stuck around a little bit just to kind of talk to Vic a little more. He was generally, happy to see Vic that day.
You know, I do have to start with this. Vic Henley was in Bruno.
We were,
yes, yeah. Wait a minute.
we were in Arkansas for 5 days.
Oh my God, you were the announcer.
I'm the ring announcer, yeah, and we did the Straight Dave stuff.
Oh my God, of course.
I haven't seen you in 8 years since Arkansas.
Oh my God. So wait a minute, the last time I saw you, there was a riot.
That's Correctamundo that you started, and I helped with.
And I helped.
So did you get stuck in the stadium?
Yes, I did. I went back.
Basically, for people who don't know, we did this movie called Bruno. At the end, there's a cage fight in Arkansas, a real cage fight. 2,000 people in the audience.
Correct.
Vic is the announcer. I make love to my boyfriend in the ring, and then a riot started.
Hell broke loose.
I left. What happened?
You had a special tunnel
12
built.
people
Well,
died.
you guys never talked what happened after he left.
No, I never saw him again.
I didn't go to the premiere. I got invited to the premiere, and I got a corporate. I got a corporate event.
That makes me and Javi so happy
The
that he never
riot
saw
started
you
and
again.
you just left? Like you were just like, I'm out
So
of
this is
here?
what happened. So basically, we built an enforced tunnel, an escape tunnel in this ring. So we've got a ring, you know, the hexagon, you know, for people who don't know Ultimate Fighting.
Yeah.
And the only way to get me out of there without me getting beaten to
Having to go through the door through the crowd.
Without being hate crimed.
Yeah, well, there were 2,000 people who
Yeah.
wanted to beat me badly, basically.
The first 2 rows were prison guards, and some of them are even crying. They're crying,
they were
throwing chairs.
They weren't just prison guards. They were prison guards, and then the prison guards brought people who were on parole. There were people with swastikas on their foreheads. And they wanted, so the only way I could get out of there alive was we built a tunnel which was enforced because we knew that people would run alongside, and they did, trying to smash into the tunnel.
Oh my God.
And at the end of the tunnel was a car waiting with, it was on with the door open, and I run in, and then it zooms off. And that was the last time I saw you.
Yes.
So what happened?
So glad you're alive.
You know what? I should have really called.
But Larry Charles was the director, and they don't know I'm not in on it. They don't know that I'm in on it, that I'm working with them, and they
Well,
just
you
think
sound like
they
us.
just think I'm the exactly.
Yeah.
And I played that card a couple of times. I'm like, you think I knew this was going to happen?
Oh.
And they're screaming and yelling, and it got
You get
there
hit with anything?
There was not enough security there. It was kind of getting out of hand, and so Larry Charles goes, how are we going to stop this? And everybody, I'm like, turn my mic back on. I'll go back in the ring.
Oh, no,
crowd
you're a great guy.
I'm a comic, and this is what we fucking do. So we can. And
No,
they,
that's
you
not
deal
what we
with
do. We
riots.
don't deal with a hate crime riot. Yeah.
You deal with swastika rednecks.
At best, you have a heckler. You don't deal with escape convicts.
I walked back in the ring and turned the mic on and told them all and started saying, you got your girlfriends are here, your significant others. We can't act like this. He's already gone. Elvis has left the building. I said everything, and they fucking put everything down and calmly
You
walked
should have
out.
just been like, roll a Bob and Tom
Yeah,
clip.
they
Make
were-
him go to sleep.
They were throwing metal chairs. Like I knew
I've seen
I knew it was
the
going to
movie.
get dangerous because we did it the night before. Do you
Yeah,
remember? We
we
were in
did.
Texarkana.
Yeah, and then we went to Fort Smith.
I'm
We're in
sorry.
Texarkana, and I had like security guards there because we knew it was dangerous. I interviewed 9 different heads of security, going, "Okay, this is your challenge. I'm going to make love to this guy. We're almost going to have sex in Arkansas with 2,000 people around. How do you get me out without me going to hospital?" And 8 of them said, "No way, you're going to hospital."
You're going to hospital.
And we had one guy, he'd just come back from Afghanistan. He was looking after Karzai, and he goes, "Tunnel." And I was like, "Okay, you got the job down," And so we're there, and basically, what I was told was by the lawyer, because it was all legally very dubious, that there were about 15 things I couldn't contravene, and the most important one was I was not allowed to incite a riot. So I could not challenge anyone to do anything violent. Because if you cross a state line to incite a riot, it's a federal offense, imprisonable by, I think, a minimum of 3 years. That's what the Chicago 7 were up for.
And your work visa would get taken, right? If there was a
that's
problem.
right.
No
and I'd
premiere.
be in jail for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then basically, so anyway, I've got a problem, which is when I'm in character and things go wrong, I sometimes do stupid things. So My boyfriend in the movie comes in, not my boyfriend in real life. He's a great guy. Hi, how are you, Brian? And he comes into the ring, and we have a fight, and we've choreographed this fight. He's got fake blood and everything, and the crowd buy it. But I hit him first, and I'm bigger than him, and the crowd start booing me. And I just turned to the crowd. I go, okay, come on, you're back. I said I won't use the words, but come on, you know, come here. You know, I'll beat the living daylights out of any of you weak guys. You know, I'm obviously making the language a bit softer.
You can curse.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
All right, so I'm like, come on, you fuckers, I'll beat the shit out of you. And, you know, I've been guaranteed by the security, they're like, sir, no one is getting in that ring. It will take 5 minutes to get in. Anyway. I see this massive guy get up. He's like, 260 pounds, but muscle. And he's like 6'8". And he starts running towards the cage. And I'm like, I'm fine. The security are going to stop him.
Save me.
He runs. And I see the security are in a totally different part of the stadium with some of these ex-cons who are like, ex-cons are in a place. They're going to fight each other.
Of course.
The security decide it's their job to stop the fight. And I see this guy, he grabs one hand on the cage, another hand on the top of the cage, and does a flip and lands inside the cage.
Oh my God.
And he's huge, and he's an ultimate fighter.
Oh my God.
And he's like, "Roar!" And I think, Jesus. And so I jumped through the trap door.
Oh, is that what finally got you out?
Yeah, no, so I jumped. This is the first night in Texarkana. By the way, Texarkana is famous for one thing. They took a African-American man and dragged him behind a pickup truck until he died. That's what they're famous for.
I think I told you that story, maybe. I don't know. Yes,
that's right.
It's on their currency.
It's awful. It's the Piney Woods out there in East Texas.
That's what they're famous for.
Brutal.
So basically, I get in the tunnel, and we've got this reinforced tunnel, and my co-writer, I don't know if you remember, the bald guy, Ant Hines, he says, Sasha, get out there right now. And I go, what are you doing? And I'm still in character. I go, what are you talking about? They're going to kill me. There's a guy outside who's going to beat the shit out of me. He goes, Sasha, go out there, kiss your boyfriend, and then the movie is done. We've been working on this a year. Finish the movie.
You got to get back in that octagon and kiss that man.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, now they're throwing in these metal chairs.
Oh my God.
And I've got a security guard there, this guy who'd worked in with Karzai. And I go, all right, this is the deal. I go, if he tells me I can go in there without going to hospital, I'll do it. And so the security guard pokes his head in. He goes, let's get the fuck out of here.
Don't regret the old days, Ope. Remember the good days and just know you can only change the future. The past is done. Let Ant go off on his rants. Concentrate on your own peace of mind. I sleep much better at night now, knowing that I was able to have one more shot at a radio show with guys that I really respected and wanted to be around and just laughed our asses off with. And that makes it a lot easier to stomach. And someday, I really hope I could really look back at the O&A years fondly. But there's just too much bitterness. Some people go, you're bitter, Ope. I'm like, yeah, I am bitter. I am bitter for a lot of reasons that I've been peppering in lately. Yeah, I'm bitter. I just got Bitcoin. Yes. I got a 5. How do you say that in Bitcoin? A 5er? Is that a 5er? I got a Bitcoin 5er from O'Dare. I got to get a crypto wallet NFT thing, and then somehow I'll transfer my cryptocurrency into my my bank account so I could pay my mobile phone charge. Coinbase is a good wallet. I got a good wallet. I'm not even trying to make jokes. I read so many articles on Bitcoin and NFTs and cryptocurrencies, and I'm like, my brain just exploded. I don't get it. I'd be willing to drop cash on a paywall if you put a show together. Well, that goes with the Vic Henley thing. So it was really tough to move on from Carl. And then we were getting the podcast back together. Started using Judd Jones more. And I was getting a bunch of my, my kind of friends on. I'm talking about the comedians. And it was going well. And then Vic passed. And then I kind of Then I kind of closed back in, to be honest with you, and I like blew off having people on my podcast. So now I think I'm ready to try to open that up once again. But as far as putting a smooth, structured show together, I'm honestly not there. I like just live streaming, having fun with this, cutting it up and make it into episodes of the podcast, and then we'll see what happens in the coming months. I'm gonna start trying to get some people back on this thing. But after Vic, I was like, I just shut down again.
Boo, 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 boo. Opie Radio. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.
This month, law enforcement will be cracking down on drivers and passengers who aren't buckled up. Here's why.
I responded to a crash on the highway where a pickup flipped over multiple lanes of traffic. The driver of the vehicle was missing, and we actually found him underneath the vehicle, unfortunately deceased on scene.
We write seatbelt tickets to save lives.
Out of all the wrecks that I've worked, I've never had to unbuckle a dead body.
Officers are out in force, writing seatbelt citations that can add up to $200. Click it or ticket. This message brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.